Hey everybody, welcome to the Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse commentary. I'm Chuck Jordan, the season designer.
I'm Andy Hartzell. I was one of the designers on the season.
I'm Dennis Lennart. I was lead cinematic artist on the season. And this is our opening cutscene.
I have to call out, I was really unsure about the narrator. We knew we wanted one for the season to call in the whole Plan 9 from Outer Space and Twilight Zone feel to it. But I was never quite sure if it was going to work out until I heard Kid Beyond do the voice track for it, and he just nailed it from the beginning.
So this opening cutscene worked on for a while. Went through lots of revisions, but I think it ended up being pretty actiony, which is good. I think a lot of it too was just written right into Chuck's design notes from the beginning of seeing the ship floating through space and then cutting to Skunkape's eye pulling out. Crazy intensity.
Yeah, I think I've seen shuttle launches that had less revision and redo than that opening scene, but it was good to put all the attention in here because we did want to make it clear that this was the beginning. This was a good jumping on point for Sam & Max, but also keep it appropriately weird, because the whole thing with Sam & Max is that you just jump into weird situations with them.
And it was also a good chance to show off how far we've come cinematically since the first two seasons, and just show off all of the just all of the great acting and cinematography.
But, my friends, this story is different.
Yeah, there was some resistance to this narrator, wasn't it? It was kind of a little bit of a tough sell, like the boring old English guy. Some people thought a boring old English guy was not something that the kids would take to, but they did.
Yeah, throughout the whole season, I got a lot of pushback whenever I wanted to do a lot more with the narrator because he just staying there talking. It's hard to make his scenes interesting. But actually, one of the influences for the season was there was this 70s horror movie called The Beast Must Die that starts. He doesn't have an on-screen narrator, but it does start with this narration, and he promises that right before the end of the movie, he's going to let you come on and guess who the werewolf is. And it was just such a great way to set the tone that I really wanted to make sure we had the narrator throughout.
Ooh, I wanted to point out that this little bit here, I just know it's a quick little thing, but Nick, who was directing the first episode, really fought for that little moment there. So
the moment where
where it comes out into his head and it sort of spins out.
Yeah, and this whole first section is just full of little moments like that. I mean, we knew pretty much from the start basically what was going to go on here, but there were just so many different versions of how exactly to sell it, and it was amazing to see one version to the next, the same basic stuff happening, but it just flowed so much better and made so much more sense. Using the rhinoplasty. The whole thing with the introduction was, again, we wanted to have a jumping point and start off with a very easy puzzle, but kind of introduce the characters with a lot of noise and fury going on.
Now, our brain there was famously recast. The brain that you see before you is not the original brain, but he's
Careful with that trigger finger, Sam.
different personality.
Yeah, we brought Kid Beyond in again, and he just nailed it. Well, actually, I did want to point out that, first of all, the opening sequence is just insane.
Nick and Jake.
I think they did this over a weekend.
Yep.
Jake kept asking, can we make this bigger? And I said, all I care about is it has Steve Purcell's name in it, and it could just flash up on there. And he's like, well, can I do more? And I was like, sure, whatever. And for Jake, usually that means we'll have a really, really nice composited something. And then he showed it to me, and I was like, wait, that's not done in the engine. You did all that in After Effects or something. But then he showed me all the files to prove that they did all that, and I'm actually a little bit scared because I still don't know how they did all that stuff for that.
No, it was crazy. Friday night or whatever, then being like, all right, we're gonna do a title sequence this weekend, and then you come in Monday morning, it's that, and you're like, holy cow.
Yeah, amazing.
This was fun.
Dennis's favorite scene.
Yeah. This was really cool because it was right at the beginning of the project, and I think it was one of the first things we started on. And I remember, I think I had an initial idea, and it just wasn't that exciting. And then I just brought Chuck in, and we just sat there and started sort of going through the moments and just totally workshopping it. And it was a super fun process. And then I just remember telling Jared, I was like, can you just give me 3 parts where the music goes dun, 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 and I'll put him in front of the eye. And it was fun and cool.
Man, that tongue was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So many times I said, you know what, just cut it. And I'm so glad that they refused to cut it because it's hilarious.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
And so is this. Yeah, Dennis came up with seeing Skunkape silhouetted in the spaceship eye, all on his own, and it really does sell the whole thing. I just said, kind of make it look like a cross between V and Zardoz.
Yeah.
What could it all mean?
One of which I had never seen, which was Zardoz, and the other one which I hadn't seen for like 15 years.
You seem a bit confused.
That's what YouTube is for.
Yeah, there's a lot of you have to do a lot of YouTubing when your director is just saying stuff like, kind of make it look like Plan 9 plus V.
Our story begins 25 minutes.
So here we have a flashback within a flashback. But I did want to. Jake still insists that this whole bit doesn't make temporal sense, but it does because the opening shot of the ship flying through space is actually while Max is having his first vision.
Fun fact. It's an IMDb
I just
thing
want to
right
prove
there.
that we are thinking about this stuff.
I'm sure there's theories on the forum somewhere.
One gaping, treacherous crack in the street, and those pansies from City Hall shut down the whole
Do you see the
block.
crack? Do you notice the crack? You're going to use that in a puzzle later.
Yeah, I remember this. At first it didn't seem like a lot, but this opening bit with the flashback, I think it was originally all on me, and I just halfway through doing the first part with Skunkape and the ship eye, I was just like, there's no way I'm ever going to get this done. So Nick hopped in and did this half, which I think worked out really well. It's pretty awesome.
The brain is
Yeah, we just kept adding more and more to this cutscene.
Yeah.
Because again, it's always that, keep it Sam and Max weird, but then also make sure that if you're not explaining everything, you're at least making people feel comfortable that stuff isn't getting explained.
Something about a spaceship.
Yeah, it's funny how many revisions that went through and how many conversations there were about that. And in the end, it just seems really natural. It
Yeah.
just kind of works.
Yeah, I think if you tried to draw a graph of all the different timelines going on at the beginning of this game, you'd be it'd look more confusing than it really is.
Yeah.
That's from
Favorite line?
the office
favorite
print
line.
that we used to sell, the Sam and Max painting that Steve did.
Get out of here! It's Sam and Max.
Great screenshot.
Hiya, Harry. We were looking for Mama.
Yeah, I love
Do not be afraid.
I love the way Bosco Tech
Mama
turned out.
Bosco is passed on to the other
Everything from the
realm.
set design to
I shall attempt
the
to
music.
establish a link to
The usual thing with the music with Jared is like, I'll tell him something weird like, combine the line of Space Mountain with, mariachis. And this one it's a little bit like Haunted Mansion plus Space 1999. And then you get a music track from him and it's like, that's more like what I imagined than what I was imagining.
Yeah, I gotta agree on that one. It's super scary getting stuff back from him, especially when you have, like you're saying, it's like sometimes it's just a random thought. It's kind of like, we're like, imagine, you got in a car accident and then you got covered by a truck of mashed potatoes. And he'll come back with something that you're like, wow, that actually does somehow sound like that.
This was a tricky set to set up because.
This thing does science so hard. You see, I've never seen
Oh, this
so
is
much
Nick's
science.
favorite cutscene. I think.
Check this out, and then boom, more science.
Oh man, I was so angry. I remember reading that in the script because I think I was the first person to go through when I was doing estimates or something, and I remember looking through and seeing that line and going like, I'm giving myself that environment so I can make that, and then somehow I forgot about it, and then 2 weeks later I watched Nick doing it one day, and I was like, no, did you get that one?
Yeah, Nick loves the Sam doing the surfer hand. I'm surprised they didn't make the Boom More Science T-shirts.
Yeah.
Listen carefully. Do not trust General Skunkape. He is.
Brain.
Whoa, something's happening.
Toys detected. Toys detected.
What are you doing, Brain?
Overkill with Dutch tilts and the Zolly effect. But
Yeah, this was the first attempt to start bringing the creepy Cthulhu stuff into. Oh, there we go.
I mean, what a pleasant surprise.
oh man, some of those reads I remember. Also at first when we because I remember at the beginning there was like, oh, weren't sure who was gonna do Skunkape, and then is it pitched down too much? Should we pitch it up? Like all this different stuff. And I remember the first time that we got the lines, and me and Eric and Nick and a couple of people were sitting in when we got the first audio drop, and we were just going through all the wave files individually, listening to them, and we're just crying. We're like, oh, this is so good.
I think the one thing that didn't change from the first version of the storyline, I mean the season-wide storyline went through a lot of changes. I think Skunkape is the only thing that didn't really change because I kind of knew I wanted Roger Jackson doing the voice of a giant space gorilla from the beginning.
Yeah, there were originally a lot more villains, and he kind of assumed the main villain role for the season.
Remove inventory. Where do you keep your personal items?
None of your damn business, computer.
I love the creepy howl feel that they gave to this.
Yeah,
Sam,
that was pretty
why is the
awesome.
floor so
It's like just the right. I mean, you can instantly tell what it is, but it's not like an overwhelming reference.
Screaming or crying out.
I hadn't noticed in my skating before.
Sam, why haven't we ever seen any mole people come out of here?
Enjoy the rest of your
I really dig the effects on this part too. Skro and Peretta
Yeah.
did pretty awesome. I'm just going to refer to everyone by their last names. Michael Peretta and John Skro.
You can think of a way out of this death trap, little buddy.
The phone.
Oh, here's this one.
Oh man.
This was actually Steve Purcell's idea that I liked the most. That I wanted to. I said, no matter what else, this has to go in the episode. Where originally this had a lot more of going into an alternate dimension, and Steve, just to give an idea of what it's like talking to Steve Purcell, he said alternate dimension, and you mean like you go there and there's a bunch of skeletons holding scythes and their heads are on fire? Like, yeah, pretty much that's it.
That's awesome.
And so that plus the whole Night Gallery influence. Wanted to make sure we referenced a lot of stuff that the target audience was too young to understand, but Night Gallery was indeed a show that was on in the 70s. And the actually there was one specific episode of that with a haunted Cthulhu chest that basically inspired the whole season.
You guys really shouldn't be literate.
Oldest trick in the book.
Right.
See, one of my favorite gags in the whole episode is that there are actually pawns in the pawn shop. That shows you my level of humor maturity.
It's those things that make Sam Max stuff.
Although probably the title of this episode should give you the idea of my comedic maturity.
Yes.
Boop.
What was our plan B again?
I believe you plan to turn on
Yeah,
the
this was
stabilizer, yes?
just a little bit about like the original version of this. Obviously, the influences are the Twilight Zone, and then also, of course, the Phantom Zone from Superman, and also a dick joke. And I did want to say this.
Can you believe that guy?
After we got the
whole time,
design end for the Penal Zone,
so to speak.
I really wish that we had more puzzles in here, because originally you weren't going to see them at all. And then I said, well, we can just put them in a void or something. And then I told Mai, well, just look at old, references from Flash Gordon, and we'll see if we can do anything. Just, in the comics it was purple, and that was basically the extent of the direction I gave, which was it should be purple and look kind of like Flash Gordon. And then she delivered this environment just like in a day. And then it said, you mean like this? And I was like, yeah, that's the most amazing thing.
I remember, doing all that stuff and just being so bummed that the environment was rad and you didn't do a whole lot in there. Because I know it was originally planned to just be a quick thing.
Yeah, so from now on, get the environment, see the environment first, and then design puzzles in it.
And the chase sequence.
The chase sequence was caused no end of nightmares for Eric Parsons and Dennis and Nick.
Yeah, I think it went through, and Daniel worked on it for a time. I think this was like the one thing that was sort of always being worked on in the background.
I'm happy with how it came up, though. I think it's a lot more
cool.
action-oriented. And it does actually have a little bit of that Children of Men feel that y'all were talking about, having the shaky cam following you around.
Mole Men cultists. Amazing.
Intruders! They've come to defile the toy box! Kill them! No, wait, brother. Look!
That's Kid Beyond and William Caston again, the voice of the narrator and Max.
32. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure you mean tablet 6 verse 24. Heretic!
Looks like another in a long line of wacky
Wow,
cults.
they're Star Wars nerds.
We should start charging royalties.
You try and entertain the other wingnuts while I find a way to power this thing up. Stinky. Hey, Brain, can you give us a hand here?
Maybe cause a subtle yet stylish distraction?
I grow weak, jabbing
Yeah, this one,
and
the
I find my time in this war is
the
going to a
brain slowly starting to lose it. I think it was played up a lot more before.
another appointment. My sacrifice is
But
but a small
it ended up that once you got back on the ship, you didn't really spend a lot of time wandering around.
Max, show some
And so you really just have like a little dialogue with him.
Could you hurry it up, please?
I hope it still came across that he's basically
donut button till we meet again.
just used himself up trying to power the ship.
Emergency.
Is that what it is?
Failure.
Yeah. Plus, I think that broth is starting to go
Not
bad.
every moment of triumph.
And here's where Skunkape gets sucked out of his spaceship through several layers of rock into a cavern underneath the street,
Well played.
all cleverly off screen.
Yeah.
I am too strong, and you have only seconds before. Wait, it can't be. The devil's toy box?
Devil's toy box. That's right.
It's interesting how much of this I
Go find your
haven't
own
seen.
toys.
So that's where the devil's toy box.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I
I
get
just
it.
wondered why.
Soon your bothersome dimensional rift.
I still can't tell if it was clear that it was Skunkape getting sucked through the rock and everything. Or I'm sorry, it was
Control it.
Skunkape's ship landing on Sybil's that broke open the hole
Something quick, Sam.
in the apartment to reveal the toy box in the first place.
I did not
We
know
need
that
one
either.
more flashback to make that.
That was the whole problem with this episode, is there's not enough weird time flashbacks.
And that scares me, and I have nightmares about it.
Nick struggled with that one for a while. Yeah, the reference there was my favorite bit from the Hellboy movies is when they show him and you get a little bit of glimpse of him with the flaming crown over his head that shows that he is destined to take over hell. So we wanted to have the ominous foreshadowing of that Max is going to be the one to destroy the universe later on.
Cool.
And also the whole, his brain is going to catch fire and explode. I think they're referenced again in 305.
Truly defeated? Will Sam ever find true love? Will Max
Yeah.
be able to control his
Sorry to anyone who's still expecting Sam to find true love.
visions?
He doesn't this season.
He did somewhere between episode 4 and episode 5. But
Right.
It didn't work out.
To answer all these
It was true but brief.
But for now, I leave you with this chilling
Did people?
Another Haunted Mansion reference.
Yeah. Did people? I forget on the forums like suspect that the narrator was like the ultimate villain.
Yeah, oh yeah, they
Yes.
knew.
Yeah.
That we kind of expected that it was
Yeah.
going to go, but they wouldn't know exactly what he was. But yeah, I mean, because we did it with the first 2 seasons, as soon as we started this one, people are going to be looking for the who the main villain was.
But
So I
we
have
did
a
our
question.
best to misdirect them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you come up with the crazy long lines, is it just like whatever the first things come to your head? Is there like a process for those?
No,
Because I
it's
know
just
they're
a-
sort of a big Sam Max thing.
It's a little bit around. They're all based on the original, which was the Holy Jumping Mother of God, in a sidecar with chocolate jimmies and a lobster bib.
Fair enough.
All right, so that's it for 301. It looks like, and we'll see you for the other ones.